classic like that, it's kind of hard to measure up to the original, but I think they did that, did they not? Yeah. And they also produced it. It's their first album that they produced, right?
That's right.
Sister Sledge's biggest hit is so iconic that it kind of overshadows everything else about them. Even still, I found out there's a lot more to their history than you might expect. So here are the 5 things for Sister Sledge. Debbie, Joni, Kim, and Kathy Sledge were born into a showbiz family. Their dad, Edwin Edgar Sledge, was part of a dance duet, Fred and Sledge. They were in the Broadway run of Cole Porter's Kiss Me Kate from 1948, and having an integrated cast at that time was seen as quite progressive. Their mom, Flores Sledge, née Williams, was an actor and singer, and their grandmother, Viola Williams, was an opera singer. But even cooler than that, Viola Williams was part of the civil rights movement, the protege of Mary McLeod Bethune, the founder of the NCMW.
Mary McLeod Bethune was an educator and activist who fought for the advancement of Black Americans, especially Black girls, by improving access and quality of education.
All 4 sisters started singing in church with additional training from their grandmother. While still in school, they started their first band, Mrs. Williams' Grandchildren, performing mainly at charity and political events. They started touring the East Coast as Sister Sledge while all 4 were still in school. Their mom was their manager and their bus driver, and in 1971 released their first single on Money Back Records, Time Will Tell, credited to Sisters with an apostrophe Sledge. Their first taste of success would come in 1974 with their recording of Love Don't Go Through No Changes on Me, which became a hit in Japan. This resulted in a performance at the Tokyo Music Festival. And if you don't know, the Tokyo Music Festival, which ran from 72 to 92, was not a standard music festival. It was an international music competition, kind of like Eurovision. The year that Sister Sledge participated, they won the silver medal, just behind Renée Simard from Canada. That same year, Sister Sledge also performed in Zaire, now the Democratic Republic of the Congo, as part of the hype leading up to the heavyweight fight between Muhammad Ali and George Foreman. Remember the Rumble in the Jungle? In 1975, they released their first full album, Circle of Love, on Atco Records, a subsidiary of Atlantic. At this point, Debbie and Joni were full-time students at Temple. Kim and Kathy were still in high school. They started seeing some success in Europe, too, including an older single, one released in 1973, Mama Never Told Me, making the top 20 in the UK. For their 1977 album, Together, Atlantic moved them from Atco to Cotillion, and because they'd had so much success in Europe, they did pretty much all of the recording at Union Studios in Munich. That same year, the youngest sister, Kathy, graduated high school and enrolled at Temple, just like her older sisters. And all 4 did graduate. And then it happened. In 1978, Atlantic paired Sister Sledge with the production and songwriting team of Nile Rodgers and Bernard Edwards. The result was their 1979 album, We Are Family. The first single from that album, He's the Greatest Dancer, topped the R&B charts and made it to the top 10 on the Hot 100. The next single was the title track, We Are Family, which was enormous. Beyond just chart success, though, We Are Family got them a Grammy nomination. The album was certified platinum by the RIAA, and Sister Sledge was named Billboard's Best New Artist in 1979. Plus, We Are Family was adopted by the national champion 1979 Pittsburgh Pirates as their official anthem. So Sister Sledge got to sing the national anthem at the opening of the 79 World Series. Pirates 4-3 over the Orioles, MVP Willie Stargell.
We are family, and that's the best way to explain it.
Their follow-up album, 1980's Love Somebody Today, was also produced by Rodgers and Edwards, and it did well, with the title track cracking the top 10 in the R&B charts. but just not as well as We Are Family. Well, with a disco backlash and all. In 1981, Sister Sledge amicably parted ways with Rodgers and Edwards and began working with producer Narada Michael Walden. Yes, the same Narada Michael Walden that played drums for Mahavishnu Orchestra after Billy Cobham left. The resulting album, All American Girls, was a moderate success, but it suffered a bit because the sisters felt that they didn't have enough creative control over the material used on that album. I mean, they co-wrote many of the songs, but in hindsight, it's still primarily seen as a Narada Michael Walden project that Sister Sledge happened to sing on. So they decided to self-produce their next album, The Sisters. This week's album, and the one scene is their turn away from disco. After The Sisters, they would release 2 more albums in the 80s. 1983's Betcha Say That to All the Girls. Betcha Say That to All the Girls. Who me? And 1985's When the Boys Meet the Girls. When the boys meet the girls. And although they would never truly break up, they did spend less time recording. Kathy started a solo career in 1989. Leaving Debbie, Joni, and Kim to continue without her sometimes. Although they reunited for a performance at the White House in 2000. And again for a benefit recording of We Are Family after the 9/11 attacks. In the mid-2000s, they recorded but never released an album called Style, Legal Difficulties. And through the rest of the aughts and teens, they would tour in various 2- and 3-person configurations with several guests filling in, including Debbie's daughter, Camille. In March of 2017, Joni Sledge died of natural causes at age 60. The remaining sisters and daughters still occasionally perform as Sister Sledge to this day. That's the 5 things for Sister Sledge. I'm off to listen to The Sisters. Back soon with first impressions.
One other sister you have too.
Yes.
Where is she now?
She's in Philadelphia right now, in the States. She's a school teacher.
And did you all come together since you were 2? I mean, we heard about you singing when you were 2 years old. So all 5 of you at one stage sang together? Is that
Yes, that's very true. Our grandmother was an opera singer, and she's the one that really instilled strong appreciation for all kinds of music when we were younger.
There's a touch of disco on The Sisters, but it's not a disco album. Mostly what I'm hearing is highly glamorous Philadelphia soul, a la Patti LaBelle, but with a hint of disco and even a touch of supremely old school rap, like painfully old school. Fortunately, we get the awkwardness out of the way right at the start with the opening track, Super Bad Sisters. And to be fair, that kind of clunky rap bit is only the last 45 seconds of the tune. The rest of it feels like 80s funk. Next is the Motown cover, My Guy, and really their biggest single since We Are Family. The arrangement is fairly faithful to the original, but with updated instrumentation and more parts for the backing singers. Telling you from the start, I won't be torn apart from my guy. If you like the original, I'm betting you'll like the Sister Sledge version. Though for me, the drummer could have dialed it back by about 50%. Speaking of the drummer, the next song is Lightfootin', co-written by and named for Philip Lightfoot, who happened to be the band's drummer and Kathy Sledge's husband. And while the get on the dance floor lyrics are pure disco, the sounds are 80s Philly soul, heavy on the drums and auxiliary percussion, naturally, but also sparkly guitars and ARP synthesizers. Starting with the next song, My Special Way, the album steers away from the dance tracks for a bit. My Special Way is an 80s power ballad. For those of you old enough to remember what I'm talking about here, imagine it's 1982 and you've just finished watching some teen drama starring, Mare Winningham or Laurie Singer. This song could very well be the song that's playing over the end credits. It's that kind of feel. I still love you in my special way. And even though there's kind of a mid-tempo dance groove happening in the next song, Grandma, the purpose of this song is to have all 4 sisters Sledge unashamedly heap praise and love on their maternal grandmother, Viola Williams. And in fact, you can hear their grandmother's voice near the end of the tune. It's super sweet.
I love you too.
Get You in Our Love is more of an 80s R&B kind of a thing. A mid-tempo sort of a groove with Parliament-style steady quarter note groove mirrored tightly by the bass. Get you into our love. The first thing I thought of when I saw the title Il Maquillage Lady was LaBelle's Lady Marmalade, for I think obvious reasons. Fun fact, Lady Marmalade was co-written by Bob Crewe, who also co-wrote Tallahassee Lassie. This tune is probably my favorite one on the album. It's a combination of Sister Sledge's undeniable elegance and some first-class early 80s Gap Band style synth funk.
Oh, she's an Il Maquillage lady.
Everybody's Friend is a bit of smooth jazz, a ballad that could have easily come from Al Jarreau or Anita Baker. The 7#9 on the turnaround is quite dramatic.
Everybody's friend.
Speaking of smooth jazz, y'all remember that song All the Man I Need by Whitney Houston, the one with sax solo by Kenny G? Do you know that Sister Sledge did it first? 8 years previous?
You're all I've got in this world.
Well, technically Linda Clifford did it first by a few months, both released in 1982.
But he's all the man that I need.
Also another fun fact here, Whitney Houston's version was produced by Narada Michael Walden. Sister Sledge's version is done as a duet with David Simmons. It doesn't have the overwhelming waves of bombast that Whitney Houston's version has. But on the other hand, no Kenny G. The last song on the album is the one for sure disco song, Jackie's Theme, There's No Stopping Us, used by CBS for its coverage of the 1982 NCAA college basketball tournament.
No stopping us, we ain't had enough. We won't wait till we stand up. Turn on the world.
I'm not sure who Jackie is, but yeah, this is classic Sister Sledge disco thing. The one song on this album that I wasn't in the least bit surprised to find here. Overall, I feel a lot of family vibes on this album. Like once they were allowed to produce an album themselves, they made the decision to just call in all their friends and family to help, give everyone a feature, make sure that the relationships were in full display. As someone who grew up in music, I relate. Anyway, those are my first impressions. I'll be back soon with my final thoughts.
You know, I was speaking with someone today and they happened to mention to me that some artists are actually recording they're singing to recordings when they're performing. I was in shock.
Really?
Because
It happens.
what is it not to sing to an audience? The energy between
Oh,
you, the
to-
synergy.
To actually
Yeah.
lip sync?
Yeah, can you
can get
imagine
found
that?
out quite quickly.
That's
when
not a
things
whammo
go wrong.
thing.
I have to admit to being drawn to the image of Sister Sledge. Even when I was super young and they were at the height of their popularity, the elegance and sophistication they embodied in their public persona was fairly captivating to me. I might have even had a bit of a crush on Debbie, but like I talked about earlier this season in episode 104, Real People by Chic, disco was tough for me when I was growing up, so I never got any of their albums. Yeah, the more I've been thinking about it, the less sense it makes, because at home, we watch Soul Train, we watch Solid Gold. My mom loves 70s R&B. I think if it weren't for the orchestrated and extremely problematic pushback of the late 70s, it wouldn't have been a thing. And a lot of those albums would have been in our collection alongside Stevie, Aretha, and Marvin we were already listening to. I also have come to greatly admire how seamlessly their four voices blend, even when singing in unison. That's a more impressive feat than I think a lot of people might realize. As a collection of music, The Sisters by Sister Sledge is okay. It has a couple of tunes, Il Maquillage Lady and Everybody's Friend, that are not only pretty musically satisfying, but also sound a few years ahead of their time. But ultimately, I think I'm going to recommend you check out this album mostly because of the deep feeling of family that comes from every second of this music. It completely fits with the image they created for themselves on We Are Family. In fact, what it did is it put this scene in my head, right? Now Rogers has his meeting with Kim, Debbie, Joni, and Kathy to get a feel about who they are, and in about 2 seconds writes, "We are family." I worry a lot about how I'm perceived in the music space. It's been extremely difficult for me to try and walk the line between, on one hand, acknowledging the fact that I got a leg up musically by virtue of who I am and who my family is, and on the other hand, establishing my own identity musically. To this day, every time I get a call asking to be a part of a project, the first thing I think is, well, they're just asking me because my last name is Trucks. They don't really want me specifically. And yes, I am in therapy for it. But I've been fortunate over the past 10 years or so to have become friends with Luther and Cody Dickinson. They're also from a musical family, their dad being Big Jim Dickinson, part of the Dixie Flyers from Memphis that later moved to Miami to record as session musicians for Atlantic at Criteria Studios. Watching Luther and Cody embody the music of their father and their home scene while making it their own has been very inspiring for me.
Let the devil ride.
Plus, they're genuinely amazing people. Love you guys. So that's what I'm feeling in part here. Sister Sledge is their family. It's always been with them. From the days their mom was their manager and their bus driver, all the way to including their children and cousins in their touring shows. Not to mention that one song they will forever be known for. And I get the clear impression that once they had full creative control, there was no keeping the bigger family out of the studio. So even though the music on The Sisters is only okay, listening to it is still kind of a cozy and uplifting experience for me. Erg gezellig. So that just leaves my 5-word overview of The Sisters. Sister Sledge is still family. Now let's see what I'll be listening to next. Last time this season, the year is 1963. Oh, we're off to a great start. Now, week and month. 4th week of October. Cool. Halloween, 1963. In chart position? Number 63. Okay, number 63 on the Hot 100 for 1963. For the week of Halloween, we got Two Sides to Every Story by Etta James. Oh, I could not be happier than to end the season with Etta James. In a way, we've been talking about her off and on all season. Two Sides, parentheses, to Every Story, close parentheses, was originally released as a non-album single, but it does appear on the Chess retrospective Her Best, so that's what I'm listening to next. Thanks for hanging out with me, everyone. I'll see you next week.